Howdy and welcome to Skeleton Crew Props. Today I'm gonna build and review the foam head form provided to the public by the mad geniuses over at Punish Props. For an upcoming project of mine, I realized it would be a great boon to have a copy of my head. So after jotting down a bunch of crude measurements, I remembered that Bill from Punish Props released a foam head form that consequently is the same size as my watermelon head. Now, on to the show. Step 1. Use your ever-dwindling cartoon $sign sack of money to purchase this very reasonably priced template from the Punish Props website and switch the setting on your printer from eat to vomit. Step 2. Find your pointiest boy and mush its face into the paper until all that remains are the organs of a previously whole being. Don't forget to add insult to injury and make sure they suffer a death from 1,000 cuts. Step 3. Go to take a break outside the sour barn, whatever that is, for an enormous burrito before heading roughly in that direction where you'll come across the International House of Tools, or IHOT, wherein resides the forbidden syrup. Step 4. Back at base, Sparks in the software flash the message "Slight confusion ahead." There are only 2 complaints I have with this whole setup, and this is the first one. After cutting up all the pieces, you're left with a jumble of shapes with letters. Many of the shapes even have multiples of the same letter, so trying to figure out which piece attaches to which piece was a slight hitch. My solution was to go back to Punish Props' original video and freeze frame on the clip of him putting the pieces together so I could determine the layout. So Punish Props, if you're watching, if I could suggest a tweak to the design, add a 4th page that just has an exploded view of all the pieces as a guide to show where everything is supposed to connect. Step 5. Crack open the boys with a cold one, lay out sus papillis on your foam bits and start drawing corpse outlines. Don't forget to label your bits and remember the template is only for the left side of the head. Flip the pieces over to trace out the right side. Hooray, you're done. Step 6. Time to switch your name to Cutler Beckett because it's time to deal with some piracy. I mean foam cutting. When you're slicing, make sure to slice to the inside of the line. There really should be as little of a border on the pieces as possible when they're done. When you replace your blade, make sure you throw it away in a safe manner. I hid my blade in a chunk of foam, and you should definitely replace blades or sharpen them because the difference between sharpened and unsharpened cut was staggering. If you have a bandsaw, I imagine all of your cuts will look pretty nice and smooth, and I think the fact that most of my cuts being ragged is what makes my final head form so cattywampus. Step 7. Make sure you are in a well-ventilated area because this glue is a nasty one. Don't forget your gloves or respirator either. Pick a piece to start with and put glue on both halves of the equation or else it won't stick. Bill always said to wait 5 minutes before attaching the 2 halves together, but this particular contact cement said to wait at least 15 minutes, so I split the difference and only waited approximately 40 seconds to 2 minutes before attaching the halves. And I found on most occasions I actually had to put another layer of glue on and wait longer because the foam seemed to drink it up and make it not sticky anymore. Just rewatching this footage gives me the same headache the glue fumes gave me. After apparently a couple hours of gluing, you're on to the final part. Gluing the 2 halves of the head together, and you're technically done, but I had more to go. Step 8. The second thing I didn't like about this build was a minor one, in that for some reason the base is weirdly rounded and couldn't stand on its own. I don't think I did anything wrong cutting it out or gluing it in, but I'm not opposed to being wrong. Either way, I had to fix it, so I sliced off some small pieces until it was relatively flat and could stand on its own 2 necks. Step 9. Using Mod Podge, I sealed up the foam and filled in some of the smaller gaps between the pieces. I honestly don't mind the goofy, messed up way mine turned out. It's just a tool after all. Like I said, with a bandsaw I could have gotten cleaner cuts, but I don't have one. And also in the original video, he used a heat gun to pre-round some of the pieces. He said it wasn't necessary, and he was correct, because I didn't do that and I still got ahead. But it may have helped if I had. Step 10. Using my arm as a stand, I gave it a good spraying of some black spray paint to even it all out, and left it to dry overnight. In the morning, I woke up to my mouse simulating being abducted by aliens, and a note my previous night self left for me, and went full Mayor of Townsville on its no-ass-having-ass. And at last it was finished. It ended up looking more like a super head than a normal smooth human head, but I don't mind. It was just a tool I need for a future project, and it can hold a hat perfectly fine. All in all, this was totally worth the 5 gold buckos and is an excellent design by Punish Props. I do think it could benefit from a diagram of how all the pieces fit together, but in the end I found a solution that let me bypass that headache. Thank you all for watching, and thank you Punish Props for putting out so many insightful and entertaining videos, and this excellent product. This wasn't an ad, I just genuinely enjoy their work and have done for years. I'm even subscribed to their Patreon. Feel free to leave a comment down below on how goofy you think my head form is, and look forward to my next project coming hopefully sometime in the next 2 weeks. I'll see you then. Have a good one.